Many people have been affected by an entity that has come into your life ever since you were a child. And the entity wants to stake claim on your promise. The entity wants to stake claim and cause you to be infertile in life. The entity is a dark spirit of your past that comes in through other members, objects, or you. And members, I mean members of your family. This energy, this negative energy, is sent by Satan, wants to devour you. Many of you have been battling this from a past life, even before you were born, even before you even came into this particular universe, this world. You've been dealing with a very vile, wicked, and foul spirit, and it's been wreaking havoc in finances, through depression, through loss of like death and destruction in your family and your bloodline. This evil and wicked entity attacked me since I was a child. So I understand what people are going through. This particular entity wants your promise. It wants your life. It wants to take over your life. Many of you don't understand why you've been having such a hard life. Why have you been having so many trials and tribulations, and why does it seem like God just doesn't favor you? Why does it seem like God hates you? God doesn't. The entity attached to you does. This is why it's important to have a close relationship with the Most High God so that you can identify this entity and kill it from the root. The entity attaches itself to your womb, especially if you're a woman. Man, it may attach itself to your pelvic area. That's where your divine nature is. This entity causes erratic behavior. This entity causes depression. This entity causes anxiety. This entity causes you to be in the wrong side of your energy, inheriting obsessive behaviors, inheriting addictions, because you can't make out or understand why you even feel the way that you feel. It's the dark energy, an entity that hovers over you. So it causes you to bend to its will. Some of you have been ruined by this entity since you were born. This entity has been around me, that I have felt, for 37 years. So however old you are, look at your life. Go back. You can't explain certain behaviors that you had when you were a child. Why did you do certain things? Why did you think certain things? Why did you have these behaviors? This is the entity that needs to be defeated, and this is the entities that affect the whole entire world and many bloodlines. And this is the cause of a lot of bloodline curses. And this is the root of the problem. Many of you are dealing with a sexual entity, a demon, that's around to rape you. So it jumps off into people. If you've been molested, it molests you because it wants your energy, because you possess something in your womb that is golden, that can heal a lot of nations. If you go back to Abraham, I keep hearing Abraham. Abraham, his name was changed for a reason. Abraham had a promise from God, but Abraham also had to clear out some darkness. in order for that promise to be inherited, in order for him to get in his inheritance, in order for him and Sarah to get the inheritance, they had to fight something. And this is why we have spiritual warfare. According to Ephesians 12, we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against those things that are in wicked and high places. So I'm going to tell you how to get rid of this entity. Number one, you need to have a relationship with God to be able to identify it in the first place. And how do you do that? Pray. If you don't know what to pray, pray the Lord's Prayer over and over and over again, which is this: Our Father, who art art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, as we are debts, as we also have forgiven our debtors. Please lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from the evil ones. For thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory, forever and ever. Amen. Say it 3 times. Then once you pray, eventually God's Spirit will come over you. And God will let you know what's been going on with you and your family, why there has been so many bouts of destruction, why has there been so many deaths. Some of it's karma, some of it's the entity. So I'm coming to you today to help you to heal these bloodline curses that we didn't even know we had. There's an entity that has been surfacing for a very long time, very ancient, been around for years. Comes through the spirit of depression, poverty, lack, suicide, rape, molestation, incest, betrayal. And we can read half of these things in our Holy Bible today and identify this entity. Starting with Abraham and Sarah. I don't know why that's very strong here, because it has something to do with the promise. It has something to do with the nations. It has something to do with being fruitful and being able to multiply. This thing attaches itself to your womb, and it starts at the root in the sacral. And then from there, it causes other erratic behaviors within you so that you can be unfruitful. It may cause infertility in women. It may cause you to have a very messed up sex life because you are faced with so much trauma from your past, and this entity is there to remind you of how horrible you are and how horrible your past was. And you take on these things not realizing that it's the entity that's causing you to think like this. And so you do things. So you do things that you don't understand. You have a lot of people being molested and raped because this entity has jumped into that particular family member or person in question. And it will continue until you are able to identify it. So going back, you need to pray, probably fast if God calls you to do that. You need to be able to confess, take accountability, not that you're doing anything wrong, meaning taking responsibility for allowing it to be here this long. And don't blame yourself because you didn't know. Now you know, though. So now that you're able to pray about it, get a relationship with God, you're going to be able to identify it, take accountability, and now God's going to give you steps on how to kill it. So no, you're going to have to kill it in the spirit. You can't kill it with physical things. You have to kill it in the spiritual realm. So you have to call out the energies in your life, because you got to see it. Look at your life. The physical aspect of your life is always a spiritual root, an underlying problem, issue. Like for me, I kept getting evicted. For me, it's been love, it's been lovers, and things like that. I'm not able to go into much detail of my past yet, but I'm here to tell you right now, you need to pray this entity away. You need to renounce it. You need to annihilate it, and you need to claim your royal throne and take back your DNA. How it takes your DNA is through the womb. And it may come into lovers, whether you're a man or you're a woman. And it siphons your energy. Then you become this slave. You become a slave to it. So now it's ruining your life. But God is here to save you. This is where you are going to be redeemed. So now you're able to be fruitful and multiply. And now that you're able to see the promise that God has already ordained you to have, I pray that this helps someone. And I really pray that this helps someone. Have a good one.